Some interesting incident and why GRC. Now, again, look at this. These are some recent incidents. First one was an insurance company, and they had a data theft that impacted a lot of their customers. This is a huge deal, very big embarrassment to the organization itself. The other one, maybe you guys have heard of Colonial Pipeline. This was a very, very big deal also. Colonial Pipeline was a ransomware attack. As the name implies, ransomware means we shut your system and we are asking for ransom. Give me Bitcoin, give me this. Now, we in the West, in North America, there's no official government policy against, paying out for ransomware. As a business, you have to make that decision. Imagine Amazon, for example, shutting down for a day. Think about the revenue they can lose. So if somebody says, give me $5 million or else I'll make you shut down for a day, Amazon probably makes $100 million a day, right? Or something like that. So if they ask for $5 million versus they losing $100 million, they will just wink and ask their legal team to go settle. And most of these folks, they have lawyers that's their job. They know all these guys in the dark web, they know how to collaborate with them. Many times when they give you the key to decrypt the attack, the ransomware they put on your system, the lawyers have an idea of how to play with these guys. They've worked with them many times before. Again, that's somebody else full-time. Somebody said, target data breach, T-Mobile, that's a big one. Let me talk about data. Thank you, Dano, that was a good one. Most of us are in North America, Target is the retail store, like Walmart, right? Now, guess what happened? They had HVAC, AC maintenance folks come to their environment to do regular maintenance. And guess what? It's a third party that came to do maintenance. Even though it's a third party, you are liable. It's not an excuse. Now, guess what happened? Because of that breach, they compromised hundreds of thousands of customers' record, and they were fined hundreds of millions of dollars for that breach. So it's so important. That's why we take a topic like third-party risk management, huge piece of the puzzle for us. I lead a team that focus on operation technology, for example, in North America. And for us, it's a huge, massive deal. Anything that has to do with manufacturing, research, lab, it's a big deal for us, right? If you are using robotics, we have to think about how do you segment your network within those space. It's a massive deal for us, right? We have to figure out, are you using OT monitoring tools? Does it fit with your enterprise? How exposed are you within your network? Do you have a DMZ, industrial DMZ, that segment those networks? If there's a breach, how do you respond from those breach? So it's a big deal. People spend and invest so much in this right now because of the risk and the exposure. A compromise can, besides exposing you legally, your supply chain can be disrupted big time, that you might lose customers a lot within a short time. So very, very important. All right, let's go to the next one. Again, these are some basic, what's vulnerability? A weakness that can be exploited, that's a big deal. What is the risk? Possibility of something bad happening, right? Every day of our life, everybody, we are exposed to certain risks. Some of us use different mechanisms to feel there's no risk, but there's no end to potential risk. You can always think of a potential risk. For example, what's the risk? The light can just go off as we are talking right now. If I'm in a different location, I might say the risk is high. My geography might be maybe low risk. If I'm in another location, the risk will be higher. What about the risk of flooding where I am? Well, thankfully, I'm in the great state of Texas. We don't experience flood, at least where I stay. If I was living in Florida, close to the coast, or Alabama, then the risk is higher. So risk is always evolving. You have to assess your risk at all times. What about threats? An entry or actor that may exploit a vulnerability. There are so many threat actors out there. And these are the things we would have to assess as cybersecurity folks in our program, okay? All right, let's go on. We talked about framework earlier on. There are some guidelines. We have PCI, we have GDPR, we have HIPAA. These are some big ones out there. GDPR is for privacy, mostly in organizations that have subsidiaries in European Union. HIPAA is for healthcare. That's why most of us, when we go to our doctors, they ask us to fill HIPAA form. Then we have PCI, which is mostly for payment card industry. If you are handling certain financial transactions, typically PCI compliance is a must for you, or else you expose yourself to regulators. All right, business continuity, big deal, big deal, big deal. At the end of the day, guess what? In the era of COVID, most organizations now realize it's so important. It's not just as simple as, oh, yeah, I'm running a business. What about if there is crisis? What is your strategy for business continuity? Now, most of us will think it's not a big deal until it is a big deal. Many times we think it's not a big deal, then we realize it's a big deal when there's crisis, okay? All right, so this is an example of a well-used framework. A framework is just a guide that helps organizations to figure out how to manage their organization. It's like series of best practices on things you can do to get you comfortable that you're covering all the key risks in your organization. Now, let's put it in perspective. Some of these organizations are 41,000, so they are massive. So you are part of something huge, to be honest with you. Many times it's not just casual. You're part of something massive, something way bigger than you and I, many times. Their mission, their vision is way big. And these are huge monsters that their revenues are hundreds of billions of dollars in some cases. So they use this as a way to guide and structure how their business is. Let's put it in perspective. You and I, we have a home. You probably have a family, spouse with kids. And you would agree sometimes it's even difficult to manage, a small home setting, right? Now imagine someone that has 100,000 employees, including vendors, contractors working with them. That is some crazy stuff. You need a framework to make it manageable in small silos. So that's where we fit in. It's a fun field. It's a rewarding field. Very prestigious.